Kade Chandler, it was the Demons and the Giants on the weekend. There was a great rivalry. It didn't quite go the way of the Demons, but that young fella's doing some pretty cool things. He's on the line with us this morning. Hello, Kade.
Hello, guys. Thanks for having me.
Good on you, buddy. Nice to have you with us. Have you got sort of a sporting rivalry that stands out to you? You'd be a sports lover. Anything that pops out in terms of something you'd make time to watch, you'd get up early for?
Has to be the Ashes for me, probably.
Oh, of course. How did we miss that? Well done. Well done.
Yeah.
You're in the running for the Callaway Chrome Tour golf balls we're going to give away later on. You play golf?
Oh, beautiful. Me in the gym.
You're in the gym?
Yeah. Me in the gym.
Oh, you in the gym? Great rivals.
We're pretty big rivals.
Who wins the battle?
The gym does most days.
Very good. Very good from you. Hey, how'd you pull up from the weekend? It was an amazing game in many respects. Thought you were on top of them early, then they go bananas and you come back late and almost pinch it. How'd you pull up?
Yeah, I pulled up all right. It was an interesting game. Obviously, we have a 6-day break into the Bulldogs this weekend, so it's a week focused on recovery for us.
Right. So what does that look like then in a recovery week? How does that look? Do you have any sessions out there on the track would you have?
So we have 2 sessions, 3 sessions this week. We've got our main training today, so I'm just heading down to Casey this morning actually. And so we've got our main training day today and then tomorrow off, and then we'll have our captain's run on Thursday.
Right, yeah. As you said, it's a big game against the Dogs Friday night, one of the double-header games this Friday night in round 21. So sum up the weekend for us. Sum up the assessment from Goody and the coaching staff and what you saw happening out there at the MCG on Saturday night.
Yeah, so it was a tale of good and bad for us. We feel like our best is really good. Like obviously that first quarter we started on fire. We felt like the game was looking the way that we wanted, and then obviously to GWS's credit, they really took control in the second and third quarter. We couldn't quite get the game back on our terms, and we feel like that's probably been a little bit of a theme over the last few weeks about just not quite playing 4 quarters and having little lapses during the game and letting the other team in with a little bit of a sniff. So, but we felt like we're really proud of the team to play, right to the end and almost pinch it in the dying minutes.
Yeah, he did. It was a dramatic finish. And it was one of those games. There was a neutral sitting on the edge of your seat, just watching it unfold, thinking that I thought you were actually going to win the game in the end, but wasn't to be. And it was a disappointing loss. And you find yourself outside the 8 with 4 games to go. What's the conversation like in regards to what that next month has to look like? Are you talking about finals? Are you talking about making sure you find a way to make finals, or is it all process driven at the minute?
Well, it's just all about belief for us. We still feel like we're well and truly in the hunt. We've played finals the last 3 or 4 years. We've been there before, and we feel like when we were at our best, our game style stacks up. So within the 4 walls, we feel like there's no reason we can't make the 8.
So it's a big month ahead. Who have you got? You've got the Bulldogs this week, Port Adelaide, Gold Coast away, which is never easy, and Collingwood to finish, which could be the one that makes the difference for both those clubs. So it's going to be a fascinating build-up. I was talking to Jordan Lewis about this yesterday with you guys, that you play a brand of footy and it's really strong contest and defence and all that sort of stuff, but when you need to be able to score like you had to in the last quarter on Saturday night, you're able to open the game up and hit the scoreboard. Is there anything that says you could do that a bit more often and break games earlier and give yourself a better chance to hit the lead rather than having to chase all the time?
Ideally we'd like to play like that all the time. Being able to move the ball freely and be able to score at will, really, like we did in that last 5 to 10 minutes of the game. But GWS, credit to them, they have a really strong back 6, and the game's hard at times. And you can't just score like that all the time. So,
yep.
The more we can get it to work in our favour, obviously, the more we can hit the scoreboard, because, like you said, in that last few minutes of the game, we were able to score pretty quickly. So, But yeah, it's just about doing that more consistently and hopefully a bit earlier in games.
And is that mode of play driven from the bench with one of those big signs they hold up, or is that something that's organised on field? That, I mean, you obviously got to go and you've got to play that mode to have any chance of winning. But who dictates the timing of that?
Well, it's not really from the bench. It was more just, I guess, the situation in game required that from us at that time. But like I said before, it would be ideal if we could play a little bit more that way, a little bit more often and earlier in game.
Well, what we're seeing with Melbourne is that you must practice those scenarios a fair bit. Saw it last year when the ball came back into the middle of the ground at one stage and you got it forward and won a close game. Was it last year or the year before? And then on the weekend when it was a couple of points to go with a minute to go and you're at the centre bounce, Alex Neil-Bullen pulls all the way out from the stoppage to create a gap or to create a space to try and work through. It didn't quite go your way, but it showed evidence of planning and training. How often would you train for those scenarios?
Well, I mean, we trained for that, since pre-season. There's lots of close games. We've been in many close games over the last few years. And I think you'll find that most teams would train their scenarios pretty strongly. We probably train them, every week, every couple of weeks, because the competition's never been so tight. So to find ourselves in close games isn't uncommon this year. So you've got to have that in the kit bag when it's required.
Kade Chandler with us from the Demons. Got the Doggies on Friday night at Marvel Stadium to kick off round 21. So when you are in those scenarios and you're playing those moments out from a training perspective, how full on is it? How much ferocity is in that little phase of training? Is it full on or is it sort of 3/4 paced and we'll just see what happens? Yeah,
no, it's flat out. You gotta train like you play. So that's one thing we pride ourselves on is how hard we train and. You got to make it as game-like as possible to make sure that you're ready for the game.
How are you feeling physically through the year? I mean, you've been at a bye 6-7 weeks ago for the D's after another patch of 6 or 7 games before the last bye. Are you physically feeling okay to get through the next month?
Yeah, for sure. I honestly can't believe how fast the year's gone. Like, to look at the calendar and say that there's only 4 games left of the home and away season is phenomenal. So, feeling good. The boys are feeling good. So, fingers crossed we can finish off strongly in the last 4 weeks.
Now, Demon supporters across the nation are hoping that you can kick a few more goals like you did on Saturday night. That one left foot from the top of the 50 was magnificent. We see a few more of them for this week, please?
That'd be good, wouldn't it? No, that was a total fluke.
There's nothing fluky about that, mate. That is class 101. Don't you worry about that. Before I let you go, the Olympics are on. The Paris Games are on. What are you watching? What's caught your eye?
Well, it's been a little bit annoying, having to wake up at 4 o'clock to catch the back end of the swimming. That's probably been the main thing. I love the first week of the Olympics. So I love watching the swimming. Watching our Golden Girls absolutely dominate. It's been a pleasure to watch, and I have kept a close eye on the Hockeyroos. I got a friend that plays there, so we've been keeping a close eye on that one as well.
You're up early, training late, playing hard. You're in a busy couple of weeks for you. Hopefully you get enough rest, and good luck to you taking on that old foe, the gym, today when you get to Casey this morning.
Thanks very much.
Good on you. Kade Chandler with us from the Demons. Had a big couple of years. He played every game last year, and he's played all games this year, 19 games this year. So he's done a great job in the last 2 years for the D's. Not much of him, but I tell you what, he is a class act. That goal on the weekend certainly highlighted how good that young man could be. They're going to need him to be pretty good against the Doggies on Friday night.
Want to see more from the D's? And don't forget to subscribe up here.